Greetings. So I wanted to come on today actually and do a little bit about the solar eclipse. So in my last video that I done with the beautiful Zola, Celeste, we did talk a lot actually about the eclipses that are coming up, but I just felt it was important to go into a little bit more detail about this solar eclipse, especially because it's in Ophiuchus and it's going to be my birthday. So first of all, I've had quite a few people reaching out to me asking me when I'm going to start my own classes. And you know what I try and explain to people is, even though I've been doing this for 8 years, the chart wheel was only actually, or the True Lifetime Sky chart wheel was only really created in September 2018. And it's taken me a couple of years to get my own head around it. So, you know, there was collaborations I did in 2018 with Catherine Kinney, and I did say in those videos that I'm still growing and learning 13 Star Sign Astrology. So, you know, plus I've been having a lot of downloads about our history and the solar system, and obviously I want to research that and make sure everything tallies up. I mean, so far, the research I have done, everything does tally up. It does make a lot of sense. So, you know, but that's when it comes to the books. And, you know, now I've got my own website, I will be writing up a lot more stuff to put up about the 13 house system and, you know, other bits that I feel are relevant. So it'll all be a build-up really to the books I'm writing. But yeah, so happy solar eclipse, everyone. And yeah, the solar eclipse will actually reach its maximum at 7:33 in the GMT time zone. Now GMT and UTC are on par at the moment. So, you know, this is going to take place more over the Antarctica, which I find really interesting for this solar eclipse because, you know, the Antarctica, it's a very kind of mystical and magical place. And, you know, I know there's a lot of alien theories that surround Antarctica and the flat earth theory as well that revolves all around Antarctica. But a lot of structures there, you know, some say they've been carved by beings and others say they're purely organic. But I just get this more organic feeling from the Antarctica, you know, the energy of Antarctica being very relevant with this solar eclipse in Ophiuchus. And, you know, it's a very mystical place. And yeah, and like obviously all the southern tips of the southern hemisphere, the countries in the southern hemisphere. So all the tips of those countries, you know, will see the solar eclipse. Unfortunately, us in the northern hemisphere, we won't see it, but we will definitely feel it. So what I'm going to do actually, I'm going to share the chart wheel on screen, and we're going to talk a little bit about it and go into a little bit more detail. And I've got some notes here because I've got a brain like a sieve. And yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to share my screen with you all. So just bear with me. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen right now. Now, as you can see, you know, in the UK, in London, UK, you've got the goddess Vesta at 1 degree in Ophiuchus. You've got the sun and moon both at 4 degrees in Ophiuchus. And then you've got Mercury at 7 degrees in Ophiuchus. Now, you know, the sun is at 4 degrees 44. I'm not sure if it's minutes or seconds what these particular ones are. But 444, I really do feel that number sequence is very relevant for this eclipse. And, you know, the goddess Vesta, she's all about our inner temple, you know, our inner fire, what lights our passion. And at 1 degree in Ophiuchus, this is all about the self and our spiritual values. But we can also see here, there's this triple T square. Excuse me, because I've got my menu down here. Let me see if I can just shift it upwards, actually. I don't know if I can. I'm just going to come down a little bit. So we've got this triple T square towards Neptune and the goddess Pallas, who's at 13 degrees in Aquarius. I mean, Neptune's at 22 degrees in Aquarius. Now, the 22 frequency is apparently like the twin flame frequency, but we can only reach that level when we've overcome self-limitation. And the goddess Pallas at 13 degrees, I mean, that's very fitting for the Aquarian energy, since Aquarius rules the 13th house in the true lifetime sky. And then we have Jupiter at 26 degrees in Capricorn, which adds up to 8. So very much Saturn's energy as well. He's close by at 9 degrees. So this triple T square, wow. You know, the pressure is definitely on. Like I said in my last video, just look at my notes a minute, because I wrote some notes about this. So because the North Node is involved, so the Black Moon Lilith is actually in opposition to our Sun and Moon and the goddess Vesta. Now this can be really kind of depressing thoughts, or you know, it's a kind of dark energy. So I don't really want to put the dampers on it, because Ophiuchus really is about the balancing of the dark and light. It's about balancing of the masculine and feminine. And I'm going to show you the caduceus in a minute and talk about that a little bit. But to me, this is like a big resurrection. Now, for a few years, we've all been talking about the birth of the phoenix. And to me, this chart wheel actually does represent a rebirth, a resurrection. And, you know, it's all very magical. It's all based around spiritual values and inner understanding, illumination. You know, and it's also coming from a gestation force, and gestations are also, you know, things that have been planted like seeds. Gestation is a time period for pregnancy. So I really do feel there's a big rebirth going on. And because, you know, the North Node, you know, the North Node here, at 8 degrees in Taurus, conjunct the goddess Ceres at 10 degrees. See, 10 is the number of the house of Ophiuchus, which is up here. And, you know, Taurus is actually Ophiuchus's opposite sign, as well as Scorpio's. So, you know, we really need to get into this grounding energy. And, you know, the Black Moon Lilith is kind of like bringing us into that shadow energy of the earth right now, into the reality of the world right now. So this is definitely global community, you know, pressure that's on us at the moment. And, you know, the goddess Pallas at 13 degrees in Aquarius, this is all about seeing the reality of the humanitarian values of the status of humanity. You know, and Neptune at 22 degrees in Aquarius is like asking us to go beyond our dreams and visions and really tap into that higher consciousness. So this is definitely a Kundalini energy that I'm seeing here. And also it's a very twin flame energy. So whether this is an inner twin flame or, you know, those that are in their twin flame energy, like uniting with their soulmates or their soul tribes, this solar eclipse is a trigger for that. And the reason why I can add to that, or, you know, accentuate that, or validate that, I should say, I can never find the right words, is because Mercury at 7 degrees in Ophiuchus, wow, you know, 7 is a spiritual number, you know, but 7 also represents the 7 rays. And, you know, colors are going to be extremely important, especially the color gold and the color blue, because this is all about an ascension of all people's energy. All star seeds, you know, are going to get an upgrade because this is a genetic upgrade that is going on. But mostly when it comes to the golden ray, because Ophiuchus sits at the golden gate of the gods. Sorry. And, you know, so we can visualize the color gold, or we can look at videos of the golden sun. I mean, in the southern hemisphere, you should be able to see the sun, but whether the sun is only shining white at the moment, or whether the sun is shining golden rays, you know, if the sun is shining golden rays, then please do some sun gazing, or just visualize the color gold, or wrap yourself in the color gold. But I really do feel this is a blue ray activation. So for the blue ray star seeds, this is definitely an ascension that's going to be really powerful. So, you know, I'm also getting a connection to this solar eclipse with Angel Metatron. Now, Angel Metatron to me represents the golden ray as well. He's also the gatekeeper, you know, so he gives out golden keys as gifts. And these golden keys open doors in the matrix system, you know, for liberation. So I feel, you know, many people will be getting that key connection. They will be getting a connection. They will be getting access to a higher level of information, because also the sun and being at 4 degrees is, you know, 4 actually represents the sun, but the sun in its negative element. And negative doesn't mean, you know, it's bad. Negative just means it's more like an inner resource rather than a creative one. So it's more about being formative rather than creative. So again, I feel a lot of information coming in. And, you know, it will actually feel like a full moon, this new moon. And I think we had the same effect at the new moon in November. It felt more like a full moon because we was coming up to the lunar eclipse at the full moon after the November full moon. So I feel when eclipses are close, the moons do tend to feel like they're full. because the impact of them is very, very energetic. It's very, very dense. And, you know, but Vesta being at 1 degree in Ophiuchus, you know, 1 also represents the sun. So it's more in a creative energy. The 1 energy is more creative. The 4 is more formative. So what I'm seeing here is that we're downloading all this information, and then it's creating this creative force in our inner temple, in our fire. It's lighting up our fire, our passion. So, you know, this is going to be a very, very powerful time for upgrades, not just spiritually, but also genetically. So, you know, with the sun though, with the squares, we have to be careful of not being too impulsive, you know. We must think before we act, because this Black Moon Lilith energy can make us very emotional at this time. You know, so it can bring out sudden emotional outbursts, or, you know, sudden, I tried to avoid this earlier, but, you know, there could be some people that are not spiritually aware that are feeling kind of suicidal. So, you know, if people around you are feeling a bit depressed, you know, try and uplift them. And for those of you that do feel a bit depressed at this time, please reach out and ask for people to uplift your energy, or to give you that, you know, that courage to like expand your mind or open your mind. But personally, I just feel that the reality that's going to hit, and it's not all going to happen at the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is a trigger. The lunar eclipse was a trigger. You know, this can kind of play out over the next 3 to 6 months. So we'll all be waking up over the next 3 to 6 months, either waking up or ascending or coming into union. Because like I've said before, 2022 is all about soul union, soul connections. It is a twin flame energy. It's the blue ray energy, and the blue and the gold are incorporated. So, you know, this is a powerful transformation. There's going to be a lot of illumination. You know, it's not going to be easy for some, while others will really embrace what's coming through. It really does depend on your own chart. But this is all about, you know, magic, really. So anyone that likes to work with positive rituals, you know, this is really a powerful energy. This solar eclipse is a powerful energy for invoking the elementals, especially the dragon within, or the dragon lines on the earth. So I would definitely recommend sound frequencies. I would definitely recommend Steve Noble's meditations, and yeah, chanting, praying. You know, me myself, I say this prayer in ancient Aramaic. You know, I learnt it a few years ago, and anyone that wants that recording, not of me saying the prayer, but where I learned the prayer from. Actually, my daughter Bianca introduced me to it. I found it really helpful, because you are calling on the angels, you are calling on the higher octaves, the spirits of the higher octaves, to come in. Although the serpent energy to me is more baseline, you know, it's more bass, it's more drums. whereas the higher octave is more the, what's it called? The higher octave, you know, the higher frequencies. So a combination of the two would work well, but to get grounded and rooted, I would definitely say bass or drums. So that's what I have for this solar eclipse, and just going to stop sharing my screen actually. Let me move that over there. So I'm back. So it's the first time I've actually done it like this, and I don't know, you know, if you would prefer to see me, and you know, because I've just learned really how to work my computer screen with the video recording or with my mobile phone, because that's the only camera I've got at the moment. And yeah, let me know what you think. But I also chose an affirmation card, so I've got this little deck of affirmation cards. I have no idea what they're called because they look like that, but there's no name on them or anything. I could download the book, I suppose, but I've had these for quite a few years, so I'm not sure if the book is still available, but that's what the pack looks like. And funny enough, the affirmation card that came out, I love it. See, it's got two owls. That's union. Union, two wise souls coming into union. And that's the moon in the background. So the moon is very potent. The energy of the moon is very potent for this solar eclipse. And the affirmation is, when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. I think that's really beautiful. I'm going to show you again. And I will write the affirmation in the description box below if you're watching this on YouTube and on my website. So look how beautiful that is. And even all these little bits here, it kind of shows like an ascension, a union of souls, whether that's your own soul union or your union with another. It's beautiful. I'm so glad when that came out. So anyway, don't forget, golden and blue, electric blue, I feel. And even like a flame of a candle, you know, if you meditate on a flame of a candle, and sometimes you get that blue flicker in the golden flame. So I just really feel that whatever you're doing on Saturday, I'm recording this actually on the 2nd, and it's my birthday. I'm going to be in meditation most of the day and see what comes through, because it happens right on top of my time of birth as well, more or less. Well, my time of birth is a little bit beforehand, so, you know, so the solar eclipse will reach its maximum at 7:33 GMT, which is the same as UTC, and the new moon will begin at 7:43. Yeah. Anyway, peace. Much love. Take care. Yeah, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the caduceus and, you know, the symbolism and how it's relative to the genetics. Just bear with me, I'm going to share my screen again. So as you can see, this is the caduceus. I use this as my symbol in my work. There's Ophiuchus up here. It's Pisces, because Pisces rules the 13th, the first house, sorry. The first house in the true lifetime sky astrology. because the sun rises on the March equinox at 8 degrees Pisces, and we are actually, which is about here, it's about here, we're in the crystalline energy of Aquarius, which is here. So Aquarius will slowly come down because it's an anti-clockwise direction. But anyway, this is the Caduceus, and, you know, this has had a lot of bad press over time, you know. It's supposed to be the symbol of the trickster, probably because it's got the serpents. But really, you know, this represents our genetic coding. It's also the rising of the serpents, the Kundalini, to meet the higher self, higher consciousness, you know. So this is also representing the spine of man, you know, the chemical genetic coding. And this is in Kundalini sequence. Normally the serpents are coiled at the bottom of the spine, but when we have a Kundalini, that's when they rise. And it's when we have a Kundalini and they rise that we get a genetic upgrade. And that's what's happening in this solar eclipse for a lot of people. So, you know, if we look at the genetic symbol, is it that one? Yeah, look, it's more or less the same. See? All of them. You know, these are just all different symbols for genetics. You see the strands, you know, and they work with harmonics as well, like sound, vibration. You know, it's the genetics, you know, it's that serpent energy that, you know, acts with the dragon lines on the earth. It's like harmonizing ourselves with the earth through sound vibration. And you will always also notice actually that, you know, the symbol of Ophiuchus, it holds the sound wave. Let's see if we can zoom in on that a bit. Yeah, see, that's the sound wave. Whereas Aquarius is more the electrical frequency. It's like, it's more the magnetic frequency, but this is more sound frequency. And it's sound frequencies. So I always say actually, like, the planets are the energy, numbers are the frequencies, and together they create light codes. So, you know, Rosa Maria Marquez, I think I've pronounced her name right. She's got a page on Facebook and she draws these amazing light codes. So please check her out because she does amazing light codes for meditation, you know, and I've always recommended Steve Noble. Anyway, if you're into the angelic energies, I am, because I believe in the positive side of them. So, you know, I just wanted to show you that. I did want to show you this as well when I did the video with Zola, but me and Zola just had so much to say, and that video had already gone on for an hour and a half that I thought, you know, I better do a separate video here. But, you know, I'd love to collaborate with Zola again because, you know, we just really bounce off each other and, you know, it just inspires us to come with more information. And a lot of this information was coming through as we were speaking, funny enough. So, yeah, so I'm going to stop sharing now. And I'm back. So I did actually send you all peace and much love before I turned my recording off and realised I didn't show you the Caduceus symbol like I promised I would. And yeah, my head's been all over the place since the lunar eclipse, you know. And I'm sure, I've noticed actually other people out there, they've been a little bit off key as well, so I'm not the only one. And yeah, you know, just take it easy. Don't act impulsively. You know, I know there's a lot of shit hitting the fan. There's a lot of pressure on us at the moment. But, you know, we've got to keep the faith. So, you know, the black moon is all about surrendering to the universe, to the divine, and overcoming fear to manifest, you know, what we feel that we need, not just in our own personal lives, but for the collective, globally, as well as community-based. And 2022 is going to be quite a year. And there will be a need for community spirit, but all the energies are there for us to do that, to come together in our communities and come up with solutions. So again, much love. Take care.